Let's flip it to the other side. A much better roster right now, but the Miami Dolphins have so much work to do this year. I mean, they're currently projected something like $50 million, $52 million over the upcoming salary cap. They've lost a lot of draft picks because of aggressive swings that they've taken. They currently just have 2 draft picks in the first 4 rounds of the upcoming NFL draft. So that's not having a lot of draft capital on top of needing to get under the cap. Does that mean you restructure people? Does that mean you have to cut some guys? Obviously, a Tua Tagovailoa extension could be part of that. What do you think the priority needs to be for the Dolphins just to sort of keep this thing rolling?
Yeah. So when you're 50 million over the cap, you got to make some sacrifices. And I think a name like Emmanuel Ogba, that's a guy who's probably not with the team next year. There are a few contracts that you can take a look at and talk about restructuring, asking players to take pay cuts. It'll be a good litmus test of how much faith there is in Mike McDaniel. There's no doubt about his talent as an X's and O's guy, a remarkable innovator when it comes to offense. But when it comes to leadership, to see a team collapse 2 seasons in a row at the end of the season, I am curious, but in no way sort of ready to make any takes about what's going on there. Just curious to see how the locker room responds, right? Because like in an off season where they're 50 million over the cap, but they feel like they really are, just this close. They're right there for a Super Bowl. Maybe you approach some guys to take pay cuts. You approach some guys to restructure in ways that's not the most favorable to them, because generally restructures are favorable to a player. It's like, hey, do you want to take $10 million right now instead of waiting for it as a game check next year? And the player's like, yeah, of course, I'll take $10 million. But if a restructure is a little more complicated and it potentially means, it's like another word for a pay cut, that means that the players need to have faith in Mike McDaniel. And so will the leadership be able to impress upon the players, that their monetary value might be going down a little bit, but that they are like as valued as ever, on this team? Stuff like that, basically, where you're selling your own players to take discounts. The other thing, like we talked about, or like you talked about, is Tua. They have to make that decision pretty darn soon. His cap hit is jumping up, I believe, to about 25 million for 2024. What they can do is extend him, and that relieves a great deal of salary cap space. In theory, they could make his salary $1 million and then prorate his signing bonus. It could be a very large signing bonus over his contract, so that his cap hit is not that large for 2024, and then they have a little more flexibility. But that means that you're committed to Tua Tagovailoa for quite some time, and I'm not totally sure that is what the Dolphins need. I don't know exactly what they want because Tua, there was that. It wasn't a report, but Mike Garafolo talked about how Tua could potentially make the case that he deserves to get paid like Joe Burrow at $50 million a year, and I just don't see that. Tua's not there yet. Tua's really not showing us that he can win in cold weather, that he can win in postseason, that he can win in really adverse circumstances. And so I don't think it's going to be a complicated situation. That is a pressure cooker because the Dolphins need that cap space. Tua wants to get paid. Does that force the Dolphins to give up more money than they would normally have planned to a quarterback that, I think maybe thinks he's a little bit better than he actually is? But Mike McDaniel seems pretty sold on him as a quarterback. So ultimately, I think they might end up overspending, not just because they want to keep Tua, but because they're in this salary cap crunch.
That's what makes the Dolphins so interesting to me is, in my opinion, you got 2 choices. You either sign Tua, which gives you the cap relief. And yeah, look, I'm not trying to get Tua on my case, but It sounds a little scary to me to commit to Tua for 4, 5, 6 more years, but it gives you the flexibility to keep rolling with this crew of players. You got into the playoffs 2 straight years. You're in the mix. You can add talent in the draft, maybe free up enough cap space with restructures to go get some more free agents and just try to finish this push and see if you can do it. Or on the flip side, if you don't feel good about Tua, then it sort of feels maybe you're not resetting in 2024. But I mean, look at the rest of the core of this team. I mean, Teron Armstead's not getting any younger. Neither is Jalen Ramsey. Neither is Tyreek Hill. If you don't move forward with Tua, it feels like this could be the last year of this go around with this core of talent that's made them so exciting. So I would expect them to sign Tua because it gives them the most opportunity to try to see this thing through.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I like the way that you put it because it's something I've been thinking a lot. It's like, do they just want to see whether they can do this a few more times? Because that, even when you extend him, you still get to keep most of the pieces in place. The question is that just an example of madness, right? Like they say that madness is like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get a different result, but you don't. I kind of wonder if that's kind of what might happen here in Miami. Like I worry for them that if they keep building the roster in the same way, and that would be effectively what they're doing if they're extending Tua and they're just kind of like trimming some of the fat on the roster in order to get under the salary cap, make a few like small veteran free agent signings that sort of like fill those holes that they have on the roster. They already have a new defensive coordinator. Um, is that going to be enough really to push them past this like weird mental blockage that they have at the end of the season where they tend to lose a lot of games, including the most important ones in the postseason? Or, you know, do they feel like they are really just this close? Are they really just about to turn that corner and be, you know, that Super Bowl contender that they thought that they would be after trading for Tyreek Hill and developing Jalen Waddle and getting Mike McDaniel? And I am a little concerned for them because I don't know if that recipe that they have is really sustainable, just given what we've seen.